So let's jump straight into talking about the event. A little look down the fight card, and we say we're going to start off with a few children's bouts beforehand.
Yeah, there'll be two junior fights. One is a Muay Thai boxing fight between a Hassan Chowdhury from KO Combat Academy and a Devon Peterson from Wu-Tan Gym. Two good fighters, experienced fighters. So I think that will make a very good fight, good clash of styles as well. They'll be representing their gym style. As you know, with kids, they're like sponges, so they actually take on board their teachers even more so than adults, really. Yeah. The next one I think will be between a gentleman from Wu-Tan Gym and a gentleman from Fight Zone. And that will make a good fight as well. Two clash of styles again. So all good gyms with good fighters. So the prelims should kick off with some good fights from there, really. Yeah. And we've got another amateur, two amateur fights as well. One of them in particular intrigues me. We've got a gentleman called Darren Wallace from my gym, and then he's facing an opponent from GMMA Academy. The gentleman's had about 4 amateurs or so. So which means he's had quite a few interclubs, and I think Darren's only had maybe 2 or 3 interclubs. I can't remember, but he wants to step up and just have a decision fight against a much more experienced fighter. So once again, a challenge has been set, and it could go either way. As in, the experience could totally show and Darren could be dominated, or Darren can put up a good fight and prove some of the theories that I always practice at KO South. There'll be another amateur fight between Ricky, who's from my gym, and Ayad Munal from Fight Zone. I think they're evenly matched at 75 kg as well, so that will just be a good fight. I know Ricky doesn't like to back down, and Ayad is also a tough fighter from a tough gym. So so once again, don't just look out for the undercards and the main cards and what have you. Just like the last show, you're going to probably find the prelims will be just as entertaining, and some of them might arguably be fights of the night. One thing for myself is I always enjoy high level kids fights, because sometimes they're more technical and more entertaining than even the adult fights. So if you are going to come to the show, I'll suggest you try and get there even early, and you won't miss, so that you don't miss some good fights from earlier on, really. I believe that it will move on to Fabio Barros. We'll be having a A-class fight, elbows against Amadeus from FSC Muay Thai. They're a good gym, they're a good Muay Thai gym. They've produced a lot of champions, and a lot of their fighters are in the rankings. So I know it's going to be a good fight. Fabio's obviously UK number 1 now at 72.5. The fight is at 72.5, but it's A-class elbows. But we're hoping that the two of them put on such a good fight that hopefully they might enter the rankings for Thai boxing with this fight. Basically, Fabio, he's pursuing more the K1 side of things, but when the challenge is put to him, he said, yeah, why not? Let me go back to the clinching and the elbows and see how it goes as well. So I think that'll be a good fight. So once that's out of the way, then everything's just going to be pure K1 action. We've got Akho Murata facing a lady called Akvil. Can't pronounce her surname properly, but a tough lady from KGB Combat. She's originally from Lithuania. I've had a look at her. This girl is tough. She's had MMA fights. She's also had K1 fights with no shin pads, so she's used to fighting with no shin pads. It is indirectly Akho's pro debut, pro C class K1 debut, or some will call it amateur K1 with no shin pads. So yeah, it'll be probably the toughest test on paper for Akho, but I think it'll be good. It'll be a good clash of styles, and it'll be one to look out for, really. I think that's going to be a good fight. It's at 50 kg. After that, we've got Stefan. Stefan's fighting Jack Miakin from Fourth Dimension Gym. A bit of history there in the sense that Jack's training partner Amari recently beat Jordan by split decision. I think split decision, I can't remember, but it was by decision on Road to Glory. And Stefan's now fighting Jack. Jack is a training partner, and apparently he holds his own against Amari. And he's also a former junior British champion, so he's been fighting from young. Stefan's also got titles in K1. He's a good fighter as well. So I think you're in for a proper fight for that one as well. Pride of Jim's at stake there for that fight. Then you got Howard Malone. Last time Howard, he hadn't fought for 2 years. Came back from the last NGC, performed really well. Got off the ring rust.
Could have possibly been fight of the night.
I think he was chosen as fight of the night. I think very technical fighter. I like Howard. Humble guy, respectful fighter. Also, he fought on the amateur circuit, A class, semi-pro with elbow pads and shin pads. He did well. He won. He won that title. So I think he's warmed up now. He's had his 2 fights. He's fighting a guy from Cyprus. Don't know too much about him, but I know that when guys come from abroad and they've got decent record in terms of pros, then they're not coming to lose. So it's gonna be a good fight. But just watch out for the techniques that Howard's gonna throw for this one. That's what I would say. Then we have Jordan. Obviously, Jordan's a good fighter. He was on a winning streak, 11-0. Then suddenly, he lost for a world title fight, and then he's just been on a losing streak. But most of them have been sometimes arguably he could have gone his way or split decision. But he's had 4 losses now, so he's really just fed up in terms of having the losses. So there's a new hunger in his eyes. And he's obviously fighting a guy from Neoclis from Cyprus, and from the looks of him, he looks like a very big guy. He had to cut weight. He could only go as low as 84. So I presume he's a big guy who's going to replenish himself, and he's going to look to showcase that power. But then you have this young, hungry lion who's just had enough of losing, and he wants to just really get his crown back, so I think that's going to be war, really.
We saw with Jordan when he was on his winning streak that he was a difficult opponent for anybody to deal with in that ring.
I think he's just he had to lose to get that hunger back again. So I think you're going to see someone that's just like not going to play from round 1. So everyone better be prepared. I think it's going to be some devastation. There's going to be some war in that one. Then we have the final. And it will be Walker facing off Hamri from France. Initially, Walker was going to fight someone who had just beaten someone from Lampini Stadium, top fighter. So it was going to be a fight that we had sort of targeted, trained for. But because of a pullout due to injury, we've had to find a replacement from France. Short notice. I don't know whether it's 2 weeks. That we, so basically we're going to have to adjust to this fight. There's not much on him. Obviously, we don't know if he had been training for it, but he obviously will have a lot of footages of Walker. And will be training for him. So I think he's undefeated. Actually, he's had 3 draws, but the rest of his fights have been wins. So he's never